what you mean?
Yes, if you let the users, the customers feel they have to pay for that, that can be bad. If they get the access, like you use the same phone, and as a customer, you didn't even feel you get the signal tower from another company's service, that can be good. So that's my point.
Okay, so could you formulate then your assumption, like really like here on the slide 1? So I believe give exact definition of your target market and what is their problem, and with the reason. So for example, I give you one counter example. I know, for example, that certain fashion stores or grocery stores, they actually cut off the signal for their customers because they don't want the customers to have a look in the internet and compare the prices in the store with the online prices, right? So this is a counter example. So what you need to find now is basically an example why they want to have internet there, and like why do they want to additionally have it there. So this could be a problem assumption for you. So for example, I believe that grocery stores are competing more and more with online food delivery companies because they do not collect enough data from their customers. Because they do not collect enough data for their customers. So what you could say is then this is a problem assumption to which you could generate or offer a solution, because if you provide those grocery stores a separate internet connection, they could, for example, the customers of this grocery stores need to log in when they want to use this internet connection, and then they could collect the data, for example, or something like that. Do you understand what I mean? Okay, so please formulate your assumptions like on the slide 1, like I believe target market will have because for this reason. This is important. Otherwise, we cannot formulate a hypothesis out of that.
Got it.
All right, cool. And then let's see what Chen is writing. Okay, Chen, so you already improved your assumptions with the formulation with I believe. Still, so you want to tackle the problem for the car producer side. So I still do not, in this assumption, you still do not show the real problem for them. So for example, your second assumption with, I believe development of e-cars is a future trend for the whole car industry. This is not a problem, right? This is a trend, this is positive, it's good. But what is the problem behind it? For them, right? So like, what is the problem for car producers here? The trend is not a problem. It's good actually. It's helping them. And the reason why it's a future trend, traditional fossil fuels such as oil have limited global reserve. Yeah, that's also good for them. So what is then their problem? So this is the question you have to ask yourself. What could potentially be a problem for them? Hi, Ray. Good to see you, or to hear you, hopefully. Can you hear me, Ray? So you missed the first part of the class. Sorry if somehow the date or the schedule you got sent, there was no course in there. I will send you the slides, so you can look through them. And we are now doing a workshop. We are doing a workshop, and you can just listen and understand it, hopefully through that. So these are I just sent you the slides, and here are the workshop slides. And there's also one slide for you, which you should actually work on now, but just try to follow what we're talking about. You should go through the slides and then ask me if you have questions. So basically, the process is now everybody pitched their business idea and the problem they want to work on. And what you see now on the screen is a workshop to write down 3 assumptions for this problem. So basically 3 ideas or 3 assumptions you have around your problem. And there are different kinds of assumptions. There's a problem assumption, solution assumption, and solution fit assumption. And we mostly work on this problem assumption now, but we could also work on write an example for the other assumptions. And they all have a clear formulating style. And now I'm giving feedback for everybody with their assumptions. And here you have Xiao is somehow not. Xiao, are you here and present? Can you fill out your sheet?
Well, she just told me that she cannot open that page, and I will do the copy for her. Okay.
She cannot open the page.
Yes, and she sent me the document that she already done.
Okay, I will share the link again with her.
I can just copy her. I can just copy her words to the.
Yeah, or you can do that. Sure, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, Chen, let's go through your assumptions. Did you change? I believe there will be an energy for a future for the whole currency position. Okay, so with your second assumption, you mean, I believe. So for which problem, for whom is that a problem? Is that the problem for the car producers, or is it a problem for humans in general? For the whole car industry, okay. Okay, but is this assumption? Is this assumption? Can this assumption fail? Is that not a fact? Isn't that like science? And everybody knows that traditional fuels are limited. So how, like, you need to test the assumption, right? So if you know now already that this assumption is correct, why should you test it? So here, you still need to work on the real problem assumption chain. Chia-Hui, let's go through your assumptions. You're now in the call, yeah. So you hear me. I already went through your first assumption. I believe students need to learn more efficiently because they want to get higher scores. Great. It's better to formulate the assumption as a problem, so not as a solution. So this would be rather a solution, right? So solution is learn more efficiently. So the problem, what is exactly the problem? Is it, I believe students cannot keep up with the study documents. I believe students cannot keep up with fast changing technology or school environment or something. So what is the exact problem? And then you can say, because they need to learn more efficiently to get higher scores, for example. I believe students have the problem. So here you need to state like exact problem, like what is the exact problem. The second assumption, I believe I can build AI software to analyze and solve the learning problems because I have access to the standard answers and the knowledge points to the exercises. Here my question was, what do you mean with knowledge points? Is it like the correct answers? Or what did you mean? Just one more idea for your first assumptions. One idea is there could be a problem that students from developing countries or third world countries where universities, schools, and so on do not have access to computers, to smartphones, to digital experiences. They will have much worse education than students within industrial countries such as China, Germany, USA, and so on. So the problem here would be that the difference between education in industrial countries and developing countries will be bigger and bigger. So this could be also something you could work on, to say that your AI software will help pupils from developing countries to keep up with the education speed and education quality from the industrial countries. So here, for the first assumption, you need to really find this one, like a more concrete problem, okay, and not come up directly with a solution here. So first, what is exactly the problem? And then regarding your third assumption, that sounds in general, it sounds good. I just have a doubt that you will find students paying 68 euros per month, as this is very high, I think, for students who do not have a lot of budget. So you may rethink the amount of the euros, but otherwise the formulation is correct of this assumption. Okay, Chiao. Let me go through your assumptions. Okay, also for you first, please stay within the correct formulations. As you can see on my screen, with a problem assumption, I believe target market will have this problem. So if we go for the first assumption, this can meet the needs. So here I also I do not see any here is somehow a problem. Here is no problem at all. So please formulate it like more as a problem and not so like descriptive. So see how if you go here in the slide, I will just post this in your assumption here. So if you formulate this, so who is your target market and what is their problem and what is the reason for this problem? So like this, every assumption should be formulated like here. Could you rewrite one of your assumptions so that you have a correct problem assumption? You can just choose one assumption. Okay, and Ethan. Yeah, you could be a bit more specific, like what kind of operator do you mean? Like I know now that it's about internet service, internet data providers, but maybe you can be more specific here. Are you here, Ethan?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So maybe you could say like internet signal provided by the network operators.
Yes.
That's what you want to say, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So then it's more specific and we understand. Is not. And this is also like formulated really relatively sometimes. You know, you want to have an assumption which is worth to pursue. So if there's something which is only happening sometimes, it doesn't sound so urgent, right? So maybe you could say
someplace.
Yeah, like in some places where it's actually important to have signal or something, you know. Because a network signal provided by operator is not good in some places where it is much needed. You know what I want to say with that?
Yes, exactly what I mean.
Yeah, cool. Okay, then the second assumption, I believe there are often many signal plans within cities because of the rapid development of the city. Okay, but here again, like, who is your target market? And yeah, the problem is that there is no signal, I understand, but whose problem is that? You need to be more specific here. And then the third, I believe operators often build their own communication base stations independently because of the high construction costs. Okay, but then, like, with which assumption of yours, Ethan, like, who is your paying customer? You don't have any assumption around your paying customer, or am I wrong?
Again, the network operators.
So you mean this is your target, my operators?
Yes.
And with network operators, you mean, for example, telecom?
Yes.
Okay, so I believe networkers often build their own communication base station independently. So what is the problem here?
The problem is they build their stations independently, and which also cause a blind signal blind point, and which means their signal rate is not it's always like around 80% or even
okay,
less.
but then this is a fact, right? You already know the answer to your assumption.
That's what I guess from the fact.
Okay, and if you find out that this is actually the case, that they build independent base stations, what does that help your business idea?
Well, in my point of view, we can I can provide the service for several different network operators at the same place in the same time.
So basically, imagine where you live in your apartment. There's no Wi-Fi connection. There's no signal. So then there would be somebody coming to your apartment and want to sell you some better internet connection. But this is going to be always like Telecom or Vodafone or somebody else, or not?
No. Totally, that's totally a trap. Again, I said we don't. If I may, if I build a country, save the provided such a service, we don't sell the service to the to the customer itself, but the network operators. We provide a better internet connection in this small market, which is the better.
Okay, and okay, I understand. So basically, you want to produce such a communication base for them, which is cheaper for them than if they would produce it on their own.
Yes, and we can charge from the data flow.
Okay. So wouldn't be that the most critical assumption that I believe network operators are willing to share revenue because, or I believe that network operators are not solving the blind spots in some regions because for them it is too high cost to build an extra sending signal station. Do you understand what I want to say?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, why should they should not just build a new signal station? Because it's too expensive, right? That's your assumption. Okay, so basically, yeah. So what you're saying here is they often build their own communication base independently.
Yes.
So, but your assumption would be then rather, I believe, network operators do not build new sending stations in areas where there is no signal yet because it is too expensive for them. Is that what you mean?
That's also one of my point.
Okay, but isn't this assumption more critical than the one you had before? Because this is something you can test, but your formulation was more a fact, like not something you can test, or at least you can test it. But then what helps like the outcome? What does it help you? It doesn't really help you.
Well, I believe the last the second part of this sentence, because it's too expensive for them now, can be improved, such as because they don't have much resources in the specific area.
Okay, because they do not have enough resources in this specific. And what do you mean with area? Is it like some part within, let's say, Germany, or is it a German provider in an other country, or?
Well, again, yeah, actually, I mean, let's take a subway for example. So Wubang,
Okay.
if you are telecom, you have to build, for example, 5 signal stations there, and of course, if you're Vodafone, you have to build it for another 5, right? If you only provided the signal for your customers, but we clearly know the space for the Wubang is limited. So maybe the company only allowed one network operators to do to build the stations there. There's no more place for the other one. Or even because because the cost is quite expensive. Nobody builds the signal stations there. So if we can build the stations here and provide the service to the several network operators, problem solved.
Mm-hmm. So basically, this assumption I think is already okay now. But then what you say that if you build the signal station there, that is still assumption. Why can you do it and not telecom, right? So what is your idea or what is your solution that can actually work? And this would be then a solution assumption, right? So
well, you should share the
yeah, so you need to formulate that in a solution assumption. Okay, but then let's get me to the others. Okay, I see this is very hard, I think, but it's very important to understand this this topic, because if you don't create the correct assumptions, you will basically not get far. So we have now not so much time left, and I would like to show you some other things. So please go through the assumptions for your homework, and please create each like one assumption, like one problem assumption, one solution assumption, and one solution fit assumption for the next time. And please send it to me. You can please prepare that within this document. I will share the link via email. And then please prepare it before the class, and then send me just an email, hey, I'm finished. So I can give you feedback before the class, because this is important. We need to have the right assumptions here. Yeah, let's get back to the slides. We presented them. Okay, so let's go back. Please look at the shared screen I just shared. Let me get one second, please. I will be right back. I just need to switch my headphone.
Hello? Hello, sir. Are you talking? Sorry, can you hear me? We can't hear anything now.
Can you hear me now, guys?
Yeah.
Sorry, I had problems with my headphones. Okay, so let's get back to the slides. So
we just missed the things you talked just now.
Yeah, I didn't say anything before. I was just handling my microphone, but now you hear me,
okay.
right? Now it's all good.
Cause I see your mouse.
Okay, no. I didn't say anything. Okay, so let's continue. As I already said before, we will talk about the lean canvas. That is basically a methodology to dig deeper into your business idea and to make a business plan out of that. It's very similar to the business model canvas. Maybe you heard about that. And here basically you see a very good explanation what it's about. So basically it's this kind of table with different segments you need to fill out. So first, a problem. Here you write down the top 3 problems you're solving with your solution. Then you have the solution you describe within like 3 features your problem. Then you have the key metrics. So basically the metrics which you need to measure, so you find out if you actually solve the problem or not. Then you have the unique value proposition. The value proposition is something within 1 or 2 sentences you give a very clear and understandable message about what kind of value do you add for your customers. So basically it's a description of your solution in nice words. And it always, as you write here, as you can read here, it's always focusing on the benefits of for your customers. Sorry. And then you have the block unfair advantage. So why do you have an unfair advantage in comparison to your competitors or future competitors? That could be something you have a very strong team. That could be you have access to technology. That can be something you speak Chinese and this is a solution which requires Chinese language or something. Then channels. Channels means how can you reach your customers? With which channels? Is it through TV? Is it through online marketing? Is it through retail stores? Can be different channels. And then on the right side, it's the customer segments. And here you describe basically the different target customers. It's enough if you write like the age, where do they live, are they married or not? So like some specific characteristics of your customers, just in a few words. And then on the bottom you have the cost structure and the revenue streams. So the cost structure is basically for your business. What costs are there? So there are the marketing costs to acquire customers. If you have some software, there are hosting costs for the servers. You also have the wages for the people and so on. So just write down the basic costs you have. And then on the right side, how do you make money? So what revenue model do you have? Do you have different revenue streams? So is it maybe a monthly fee plus there is some one-time fees for the customers and so on. So this is basically the most important things for your business in one sheet. And you usually start with this sheet to just get a better understanding and to brainstorm more about your business idea. So I also brought you some examples of companies you all know, but those are examples of the companies in a very early stage. So here you see Facebook in 2004 and Google in 1998, so a long time ago. Let's go through the Facebook canvas. Here they stated the problem they are solving. I don't know if you know that, but the Facebook started not being an international social network. They started as a network for Harvard students from the Harvard University. So the problem they stated was, Harvard University's online network is very limited in functionality and not fun. So it seems to be that Harvard University did have an online network for their students, but that was really bad. Nobody used it. The functionality was bad. And then the other problem was students want a solution to communicate online. So it seems that the students did not have the problem of the students was they did not have any tool to communicate online. They also stated the existing alternatives. So let's imagine Facebook would not exist. What were the existing alternatives at that time? There was MySpace, Hi5, Friendster, so some other network platforms. The solution, they stated, online communication for Harvard students with the possibility to connect with friends, share photos, interests, chat, and other stuff. So basically a description of a social network. And then key metrics, DAO and MAU. This is a very specific key metric for platforms like Facebook. DAO means daily active users and MAU means monthly active users. So how do you test if your platform is used through this metrics? How many people use Facebook daily and how many people use Facebook monthly? So, and then the North Star metric was like one metric for the revenue. They tested how many people invite more than 10 friends within the first 7 days, because they found out that when you invited friends into your network, you understood that how the social network works. And if you did that within the 7 days after registration, the chances that you stayed at Facebook were very high. Then the unique value proposition was Harvard students-oriented communication platform, then college. So basically, they wanted to start in a very small market in the Harvard University, and if it works, then they change it to other colleges and universities. Unfair advantage, person-to-person interaction. This was nothing the Harvard University's online network could do before, so that was their advantage. Friends activities push other friends to use the network. So this is well-known platform effect. So if more and more people go on the platform, the more value the platform actually gives you, because you can connect to more and more people. So that's not unfair advantage, because they were one of the first ones. Yeah, and then let's go to the customer segment. College students of other colleges and universities. The early adopters, so the users who use it the first, are Harvard University students. How did they want to approach the customers? They wanted through a referral, so through mouth-to-mouth propaganda, and through their own friends in the Harvard University. The cost structure was hosting, developing the platform, and the wages of the first employees. And the revenue streams was investment. So they wanted to get an investment round from an investor, and advertising revenue. So this was the example of Facebook. I think Google, you can have a look at yourself at home. Do you have some questions for this Canva? Or is all, like, did you understand what you can do with it? Can you show the thumb if you understood, or you have some questions?
Without the picture.
Yeah, I wanted to see if you, okay, one sec. So here you have the Lean Canva as a template, right? Some more explanation, and this is the examples. So you see, actually, it's supposed to be very easy and nothing complicated, but it's helping you to write down your exact idea. And all these elements like problem, solution, value proposition, customers are very important steps within your business idea. Okay, so any questions?
Yeah, all clear.
All clear. Okay. So usually we would have done now another workshop to fill out the Lean Canva for your business idea. I prepared the same slides as before for you here in a separate slide deck. But as we do not really have much time left and I would like to go through some more slides, I will send you the link, and then you can just, this is also going to be a homework for you to fill out one Lean Canva with your idea. So we will skip the workshop. So for your information, the homework will be now 3 things. First thing will be the problem assumptions we discussed before. Then will be the Lean Canvas we just discussed now to fill it out. And then the third step is, because for the Lean Canvas, you need to do some market research, right? You need to look who could be your customers, how can you reach them, what are existing solutions on the market at the moment, and so on and so on. So I will show you now some ideas how you can do market research. So it's very easy for you, for your homework, to actually do the market research. There are 3 basically headline or strategies within the market research. There first, or 3 things you need to find out. First thing is the market scope. So what is going on the market where you want to be in? What is the environment, and what your competitors are doing? And are there any competitors already or not? So first, the market scope. There are again some foreign words or some small abbreviations. They are SOM, SAM, and TAM. So the TAM is the total addressable market. You have it here, total addressable market. The SAM is the serviceable addressable market. And the SOM is the share of market. So they sound complicated, but they are not complicated. Basically, what you want to find out within the market scope research is, what is the total market size, right? So for example, if you are, actually I have a example here, or let me go through each slide and then show you the example. So the TAM is, for example, what is the worldwide total number of, what do they spend in total on, what are the trends in these numbers, and so on. So basically, these are some questions you need to ask and find answers to find out what is your total addressable market. Then this is the formulation. So basically, all your potential customers times how much or how many purchases they do per year times the average price of each purchase. That will give you the whole turnover or the whole sales within this market. Then the SAM, also some questions. This was the service addressable market. So you have the total market, and what percentage of the total market are you actually going for? How are you reaching these customers, and what do they spend on? So here's serviceable customers. So how many serviceable customers do you have? What is the average number of purchases made annually, and then times the average price, and then you will have the market size in dollars or in euros for your service addressable market. And then the sum. This is basically the share of market you can reach within the next 2 years. So how can you reach customers within, or how many customers can you reach within the first and the second year? With what kind of resources will you do that? And so on and so on. So basically the expected revenue for the first year. So now an example. Imagine you have a business which rents out home appliances. So basically some cleaning stuff or some vacuum cleaner and so on. So you have a platform, or your company rents out home appliance. The total addressable market would be all households in industrial countries, so in rich countries, because the assumption is that only households in industrial countries use actually those home appliances tech products. So in developing countries, it's not so much needed. They have different things to clean their house. So what is the service addressable market? It's all households in Germany, because you are the German company, and the first market you want to approach are German households. So basically, all households in Germany. And then the share of the market. So basically, the market you want to start with are households in Germany's big cities, because you believe that in big cities, the need for those appliances are very high, and it's easy for you to approach those households in Germany's big cities. So in this case, you would then basically have number of households in industrial countries. You would know how much they spend on such home appliance device, how many times they buy it per year, and then you could calculate the size of the TAM. In the second step, you calculate the size of the sum and then of the sum. Did you understand that?
Yes. Just it's quite understandable that.
Okay. All right. So this was the market scope. So in what kind of market size are you in? And in the second step, you look at your competitors. So you do a competitor analysis. So there are two different kinds of competitors. You need to check if there are competitors for the same needs, basically for the same problem, or competitors for the same customers. So if you find competitors for the same needs, you need to see if they are in the same category or in a different category. If there are competitors for the same customers, then you could ask yourself, could they be potential partners because they have the same customers but they solve a different problem? And what can we learn from them? Because you could look at their marketing strategy, you could look how they approach their customers, because those going to be also your customers. So, and then there's the other method, it's SWOT analysis. You probably heard about it. It's strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats analysis. So with this analysis, you basically check how strong your business model is in comparison to the one of your competitors. You just go through each of those categories and you formulate what are your strengths in comparison to your competitors, what are your weaknesses, what are opportunities. So for example, this could be in case of this electric car, could be a future trend, this could be an opportunity. Threats is something, risks, and some things you need to watch out for. And the second method is a feature table. So for example, you have a product and there are some competitors with a similar solution. You just do a feature table. So this is an example for, let's say, a 3D food printer. So here on the left side, you see all existing solutions for a 3D food printer. And then you have some features and there's some comparison. Okay, this solution 1 has yes, yes, no, yes. And then you do the comparison with your solution. And obviously your solution should have better features, or should have more features, or should have same features but cheaper. So you should always be better than your competitor. And the method 3 for competitor analysis is a pedal diagram, where you basically describe the positioning of your business. So for example, you have here different positions. You have institutions versus corporate. You have a startup ecosystem versus higher education, and you have adult learning skills. And then you want to be like, your business or your idea is basically a mixture out of every one, like out of every of those 4 points, 5 points, sorry. So you want to be the best mixture and the best combination of all of those 5 things. And then you look who is positioned more towards, let's say, this section or this feature, this value proposition, and you make an overview of the logos of those competitors who are there. And then you can describe much better, okay, you are basically, with this positioning, with the combination of all those 5 things, you are unique and you have a value proposition which is better than the others, or different. Like, it's important here that you're different than the others. It's also important that you're better, but in first place, it's important that you're different here. And in the third, you check your environment. So you'll have a look at the regulations that influence your market, also around the cultural influences on your users, but also on your decision makers. So this is important. Your user can be somebody else than who actually buys your product. So if you, for example, if you build a solution for a company, the decision maker to buy your solution can be somebody completely different than the actual user of your solution. That's similar to your Ethan's idea. The user of the internet will be not the buyers, right? So the decision maker
Yes.
will be somebody else. Yeah, so these are the points for the market research. So here you have some example how you could look, like how this market research report can look like. You have a market scope, then you have some customer segments, you have a competitor analysis, so why are you different, why are you better? And then you have some images of, let's say, competitors or existing solutions, and you showcase what is new, why are you different, and why are you better. Here are some tips for tools you can use. So there are some Euromonitor or Statista. These are great tools for getting research data, market research data. There's Google Trend. So here you can actually look at what is searched a lot of times and what is the trend of that. Bloomberg has some financial data. Yeah. Do you have some questions left for this market research part? Okay, so then that would be all for today. I will send you an email with the links to the Google Slides. So please remember for next time, it's very important to prepare the problem assumptions. Please send it to me before the class when you're like, please send me an email that you're ready so I can give you feedback. Then the second thing is do some market research around your idea to be able to fill out the lean Canva. So this document here, you should fill out with your business idea. And remember that all of those homeworks and those tasks, these are all helping you for your final report, which is graded, because your final report basically exists or is all those homeworks are part of your final report. So if you prepare them now already very well, you do not have so much work at the end with your final project report. Okay, so that was all. Is there some questions from your side?
For me, it's all clear.
Okay, so then please remember we have a class the same time from 10:30 to 1:45